Welcome to Daddy vs. Doctor. Here are your hosts, pediatrician Dr. Scott Cohen and comedian Sebastian Maniscalco.
Welcome back, everybody, to a new episode of Daddy vs. Doctor. Today on the show, we have a controversial topic in lip ties. We also have someone going through some constipation issues, and we have a military father wondering why his kid is not following his order. Today on Daddy vs. Doctor. This is it. Another episode of Daddy versus Doctor. We got John.
Hello, John.
Up on the screen here. What's going on, John? Sebastian, this is Dr. Scott Cohen. What's happening?
Hey, guys. How are you? Nice to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Where are you calling from?
Calling from Ponte Vedra, Florida.
Oh, perfect. Nice. So what's going on? We got constipation problems in the house.
I don't know if it's more of a constipation problem or it's more of just a fear of going, to be honest with you.
How old is the kid?
She's 5. Her name is Hope.
Hope.
So we've had a couple calls on this before.
Constipation's been a common theme.
Yeah, you're not the only one. So as a parent, we always like to know that no matter how bad the situation is, somebody else is also dealing with it.
A lot of other people are going through it.
Yeah, I got it.
Is this something that we should be concerned about when they're not going to the bathroom? Should we be looking at the stool to see what that looks like to determine what's going on?
No, I mean, it is a very common issue, as we said, and then often it snowballs in a negative direction because was she having hard stools and straining and it was painful?
Yeah, so this started when she was about 2.
Yeah.
And, it would come, it would go, it would come and go. But now I think as she gets older and she kind of understands the stress that she goes through for this, it's insane. I mean, literally as per my email, like you got to block out the next 2 hours of your day. You got to talk her through it. You got to try everything. I literally take a squatty potty. I sit in front of her face to face.
Yeah.
And it's just a whole event.
Ah, poor girl. And then I'm sure she's holding it in between too, right? She doesn't want to go.
It's funny, no, because you catch her holding it.
Yeah. And this is what happens. We talked about this when the poop is hard and it hurts. As a child, you just think the best way to avoid that is not to poop, but then it just goes in the wrong direction. Obviously, I'm sure you've tried dietary things. We talk about adding fiber to the diet, drinking water, prunes, pears, plums, peaches. The fruits are helpful, but that doesn't work.
No, we've tried everything from putting the stool softener in her drinks and her water, with no taste. We give her Smarty Pants, which is some type of dietary supplement every morning.
Yeah.
Fruits we try. She doesn't eat vegetables, so like her fiber intake is minimal. So we try to supplement for that.
Right.
But we try, and it just is what it is right now.
She's potty trained?
Yep, she is.
Yeah. So I usually in these cases, it's a combination, right? I do some behavioral modification, something called timed voiding. You pick some times of the day where you ask her to try to sit and try to go whether she needs to or not. And it's a little bit of a balance because if she's screaming, gets upset every time you ask, you want to back off. Don't want to make it a thing, but it's nice if they, try to sit when they would naturally go. First thing in the morning before bed, maybe one time mid-afternoon, just to see what happens. Then also doing a probiotic. I like that. And then also keeping them on a stool softener so that when they eventually go, it does come out soft. We really have to prove to her that if she holds, whether she goes every day or every couple days or once a week, it's not going to hurt so that she starts going when her body tells her to go.
Okay. Well, this brings up a question.
Yeah.
How many times should a kid be going to the bathroom a day, like pooping?
Right. It may not be every day. I mean, some kids go a couple times a day. Some kids go once a week, and both are equally normal as long as it shouldn't hurt and it shouldn't be hard.
Every
How often do you go?
Me, I'm living on there. I mean, I just go in there for just escapism,
Right. Scrabble.
Right? It's the only place. It literally is the only place a father.
Nobody bothers you.
Nobody bothers.
Nobody
But even then,
We watched This Is 40 the other night. Did you ever watch that movie? And the scene where Paul Rudd's in the bathroom playing Scrabble, every time my wife smacks me on the chest, she's like, "That's you."
yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
exactly. We gotta play. That's where we play.
I'm getting a question before I go into the bathroom from my wife. How long are you going to be in there? What do you mean, how long? I mean, sometimes I'm in there for justifiable reasons. Oh, there she
Hi,
is.
sweetie.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah.
So in this case, so once a week, I mean, my son's waking up every morning with shit in his
Right.
pants. So like,
Some do, but again, it's more the consistency that we worry about more than the frequency. And what we want to prove to her is that when she goes, it's not going to hurt, and we got to do everything we can so that whenever she goes, because some kids will hold and hold and hold for days, that when it finally comes out, it's soft, so that eventually she's like, "Oh, when I poop, it doesn't hurt. I'll poop when my body tells me to."
I thought the poop was supposed to be, or sorry, the stool is supposed.
Now you're using medical terms. Because
It's amazing what you.
He's on
pick
a
up in
doctor
the show.
podcast. He uses medical terms.
I mean,
That's good.
I got a 4.5-year degree in corporate organizational communication. So, so isn't the stool supposed to be hard? Isn't that like signifying good diet? I mean, once it's, it turns into like Cool Whip, it's not.
No,
it's not
I mean,
good.
formed, but it shouldn't be hard where it hurts. You have to strain. You're in pain getting it out.
Gotcha.
Are you in pain?
No, I'm not in pain at all.
That's not right.
I'm just saying. I just thought like fully formed stool was what you were looking for in the diaper.
I mean, soft, but I think a combination of what you're doing right. I mean, trying to sit with her, make it a positive experience in the behavioral modification and the diet.
I mean, that's all well and good in the house, but when we're out at a restaurant or at someone else's house,
right?
It's like, it's 7 o'clock, you had dinner, it's time to go. She has to go to the bathroom. We're like, go to bed. We'll lock up, on the way out, because it turns into a whole deal. And when she goes, you were talking about the form of it. Like, there's been times where I know she's definitely had like a fissure at some point.
Yeah. You know what fissures?
Is that like a cut inside the
like right around the anus, because the poop is so hard and big, it just cracks the skin. It's horrible.
Okay. Another question. And I don't know if this is normal either, but we've been doing this. My wife's been doing this. My son only goes to the bathroom on his little toilet at home. So we take the toilet and we put it in the back of the car. And if we're out at somebody's house and he's got to go, we'll bring the toilet inside the house. And my sister, we did that at my sister's house. She's like, lose the toilet. All right. Like, don't bring that over to my house. Is that?
No, I mean, yes, people definitely do that as they're learning. They feel comfortable. I have kids who, when they go to school, to your point, don't want to go in the restroom at school and hold it all day till they get home. So it's really hard. I think the key is trying to make it where it's not uncomfortable. And if you're not on a daily stool softener, laxative, something, I would talk to your doctor about it, because I think the idea of keeping it soft to convince her that it's not going to hurt is going to be really, really helpful in the long term.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling,
Poop.
man.
We always like poop questions.
Love poop questions, man.
All right. Big fan.
And you
Thank
learned a
so
little
much.
bit about Sebastian's stool habits.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, do what you have to do for your kids.
That's right. Thank you so
brother.
much.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
You know what? I gotta tell you, in talking to these parents and regarding stool and constipation, I have surmised that this has to be.
Did you look these up before we got on? The podcast?
This is. It's
no, the surmised word.
I know.
This
is the beauty of what I do is when I'm in a situation and it calls for these words.
And I was an English major. And sometimes
you were?
you were. Yeah.
Wait. You're a doctor, and then you also know proper English?
I was an English major. I don't know that I know proper English, but I was an English major. I enjoyed reading and writing. I knew I was going to med school, so I took all those courses too, but I wanted to be able to do those as long as I could.
Okay, lot different than my experience in college. I started out freshman year at Northern Illinois University as an accounting major.
Right, I could see.
Because I thought I was really good at math. I'm like, I could add, no problem. Right. And then I got into like expense reports, and then D, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, I ain't gonna be an accountant. I'm gonna be a journalist. I want to go and do journalism.
I see that.
Right?
Uh-huh.
All right. I took the test to get into the journalism school F, right?
Got it.
Couldn't get in there. Now I'm scrambling. I go, what the hell am I gonna do? So I basically asked the school, what major do you can declare where you don't have to test to get in?
Right.
And communications floodgates just
Stand-up comedy, there was no test.
so
I like that.
but the fact that you're doing English and then the doctor and this and that, it's just not my experience when it comes to education. But every once in a while I'll throw a word in there, and if you didn't know me, you'd go,
I
this
really,
guy,
yeah, I'm
what,
impressed.
peppering in these words.
But you know what I noticed about these calls? There's a common theme as parents. We're trying to control a situation that often we can't control and is not controllable.
Yeah.
Like a child, right? New things, new problems, and it's just trying to navigate that.
I still think it's the food, bro. I think it's the food that's something's. This is a natural thing to go to the bathroom,
Right.
and when you're not going to the bathroom, I would have to look at what are you feeding this kid during the day
Yeah.
that's making this happen.
No, I mean, there are constipating foods, but I mean, with kids, kids have such long-term memory that if something hurts, they do anything to avoid that being painful again. And poop is like one of these long-term anal retentive situations.
Got it.
Retentive.
That's it. All
That's
right,
it.
we're moving on. We got David coming on the show. Really excited about this call. He is ex-military, and he's wondering why his kid is not listening to orders. Oh, there he is, man. What's going on?
I'm hoping you can give us some advice. Maybe you come over to my house later and straighten some things up.
What's going on, Sebastian?
Thanks for being on the show. My name is Sebastian. Nice to meet you. This is Dr. Scott Cohen. And we're
Nice to
really
meet you.
excited. We're really excited to take this call. Are you from Chicago, by the way? Is that a Peyton jersey in the background?
I got sweetness. I'm really a Niners fan. I'm an Army brat, so I'm all over the place. You know, I'm a diehard Niners fan, San Francisco since 1983. So that's my life.
Gotcha. So you're ex-military. Is that what we're understanding here?
Yes. I retired last year in April after 28 years of service. And
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. We really appreciate it. And I find the call
thank you.
fascinating.
Here's my wife. Here's my beautiful bride.
Hi, how you doing? What's going on?
Sorry, I was looking for our shirts, but we're kind of late.
There it is.
Nice.
But
Stay
like, this
hungry,
is our
baby.
first call
This
with
is-
a.
This is we love you, Sebastian, baby. We go to all your tours here in DC, baby.
I appreciate it, man. That's a nice shirt. Thanks for the support. Now, what branch?
Army.
Army. Okay. And
There is no other branch. This is the
Oh.
only Army branch.
The one.
That's it.
See, they're doing this.
That's it.
We were talking the other night that every night is everybody around the country these days just sitting with a glass of wine, talking to
Exactly.
somebody, right?
But it's got to have the branch insignia, the Army.
Yeah, we don't
branch
have that.
No, we
insignia,
don't have
or-
that on our glasses.
Yeah.
So listen, you're wondering why. Well, first of all, how old is your child?
9.
9. And are you training him as you were trained in the Army?
Well, we try to get him like structure, discipline,
Yeah.
and his mind. He's so far inside his own thoughts all the time. He's so smart.
He's so bright.
He
I
has
mean,
so many thoughts
Yeah.
that he's like putting the frozen waffles in the pantry instead of in the freezer, and he goes to throw his socks in the dirty laundry. He throws them in the trash can by accident. He's not thinking about what he's doing. He's just thinking about other
So
stuff.
is this a genetic thing? Like I gotta blame her. Is this my fault? Doc? I don't know. Is this what's going on here? Like
It's
it
funny because I
chromosomal
always go
issue
with
or-
genetics. I always go with genetics in my house because once the child does something that's like out of the ordinary that I don't recognize, I always go to my wife, this is coming out of your side. All right. So kid has a lot of thoughts going on in his head, is not concentrating. Do you find this in 9-year-olds to be something that they got a lot of information?
I find this on the Y chromosome. I think, you give us more than one step commands, we already forgot the second. So, I find, kids this age, right? They're all sort of have their minds in different places. So, we can help them out by giving them, do this task, and when it's completed, the other. Because I know personally at home, if you tell me do this, yeah, I've already forgotten after the first or second thing. It is very,
so there's no common medication, Doc? Is there a medication?
I like he's going right here. Straighten them out, right? Yeah, I mean, how is he in school? Is he focused in school, or he has the same issues? Do the teachers say the same thing? It's hard to pay attention. He's walking around the classroom. He's interrupting things. He's putting waffles in the
attention really well.
Yeah,
but he's just disorganized. Like now he's in 4th grade, so he changes classes. And like he'll go from one class to the next. He leaves his books in the other class. Then when he gets to the other class, he leaves something over there before he goes back to the other class. But when it comes to the actual subject matter, he understands everything. He's very attentive to the actual like academic part.
And once he cues in on a subject, he needs to learn all of it. Like he's all in on everything, like football, nature, academics, music, music. He plays the piano and he reads music. Like I've gone to all his classes. I cannot read a note.
So like you said, he's brilliant. He's talented. He takes after your wife.
Yes. I had nothing to do with that.
So
I have nothing to do with that.
I don't see that there's a problem. No, it's a great thing. But obviously, I think it's just teaching organizational skills, which I think we all can, right?
Well,
what do you do to organize your day?
What do I do? I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out. Right, but listen, in this case, the kid seems to immerse himself in whatever he's doing at that particular time.
Yes.
He seems to be excelling at it.
Right.
And then on the flip side, maybe he forgets his books or this and that and the other thing. For me, I'd be applauding what he's doing so well. And then the other things, I'd be like, all right, if he wasn't doing the other things like piano and this and that and the other thing, I would be a little bit more concerned. But it sounds like this kid.
No, I mean, he's excelling everything else. It's like, how else can we help you in these other tasks that make your life easier? But you're doing so amazing. I agree. I mean, I think it's
But phenomenal. If we tell him to take out the trash and then the trash ends up in our bedroom, like what do we do with that? Like, if the trash can,
we got to walk them.
Yeah, no, I didn't know the trash was in the bedroom. I think I'm going to have to give you another opinion now. But no, listen, it's often frustrating when trying to either guide your child or discipline your child and they're not listening or they're not present, or, I've done that with my son. He looks like he's 3 and he looks like he's listening to everything but what I'm telling him. It could be very frustrating for a parent, especially coming from a military background.
Yeah.
It's so regimented,
structured, standards. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
And I think it's like, telling him he can take a break. Hey, listen, I love that you're so focused right now on this. I need 5 minutes of your time to go do these couple things and then come back and get back immersed in it. But I agree. I mean, I think there's so many positives here that giving a little more leeway for the other and just helping them redirect and helping them focus on those couple tasks. That will be the easy part of his life if he's mastering piano and astrophysics and everything else. So, yeah.
I think it's like you're saying that 1, 2, 3. You give him one step, 1, 2, 3. Like I jumped out of airplanes. Like if I miss step 1, like I'm not going to land correctly. Like there's going to be a problem. Like you have to follow directions and you got to be patient. And I think that's the key too. Is the patience and the structure and applauding the great things he's doing. Like we blow him up all over the place with music. My wife just recently had a retirement party. He did a whole piano recital with her favorite church song, surprised her out of nowhere in front of family and friends. I mean, it was beautiful. So like, we'll take that over putting the waffles in the pantry, over any day,
right? Yeah, man. You're used to drop and give me 10 and you just do it.
Yeah.
Well, were you like this as a kid? Were you following orders or were you defiant?
I grew up with my grandparents in Panama, so it was very strict. You know, if you didn't do something, you got beat. You know what I mean? It was very strict. It was very do it or else. There was consequences, right? Yeah. To your inability to do certain things. And so you had to pay attention. You had to be like, okay, grandpa wants us in when the lights turn on. Like, you need to be in the house. If you're not in the house, there's going to be a problem. If, you know, there were rules you had to follow, right? So I don't understand why kids now, they don't follow those simple things. So it's like, it's a different,
Listen, back then and back when we were growing up, a little smack went a long way, right? I mean, it did in my house. I mean, I never got wailed on, but just the fear of getting hit from my father.
Yeah, and even, exactly. Even today, like, it's not a smack.
Up. You're getting hopped up, bro. You're like,
you get hopped up. It's not even today it's not even a smack. It could be just a tone, right? You could just change the tone of your voice or your posture, right? And it could be like that. That's the attention getter, right? Like, I have not, we've got 9 years old, never laid a hand on him, never had to. You know, it's just a tone, it's just a look, and he gets it. You know,
but
and
at least you have that.
Yeah, at least you got that.
That's what we talk about all the time.
My look, and my tone don't mean nothing. And I think
my girls look at me and laugh.
Yeah.
They're like, "What's that face?"
Listen,
that's your mother.
I don't know. I think I figured it out though. And in this day and age, I have seen my kids more than my father ever saw me at this age, right? He was working and we didn't see any emotion with this guy. It was like, my mother's like, your father's coming home. He's tired. Don't talk to him, right? Now, the father is so integrated into the daily life where they see the father cry, happy, sad, this, that, and the other thing. And I didn't see any of that. I just saw an angry man
that you were afraid of.
I don't know. I think it's a catch-22. It's like now the fathers are so involved. It's like, oh,
that's
it's
a
just
great
like part
point.
of the family. I kept asking my mother, who is this guy going in and out of the house? So listen, in summation, by the way, another word. Jesus,
he's been throwing out words throughout the day.
It's unbelievable.
The more letters he gets points, I think he thinks. I don't know.
PhD, corporate comms.
Yeah, right.
I think, nothing to worry about. Kid sounds like a very, very talented kid. And if he's throwing chicken wings in your bed, deal with it, you know?
And then I want you to come over and give my girls the look, or teach me the look. If you can let me know later.
I still got the look.
What's the look like? Show it to me.
I think he's doing it right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be scared.
I'd be scared. Bro, when you popped on the screen, I was scared.
I know. I almost, yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for calling.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it.
Right, bye-bye. Take care.
I think it's just because the dad is so heavily involved now on the day-to-day that the kid doesn't, there's not a strange quality to dad anymore, you know?
Well, we talk about it, but there is, it's either lack of discipline or a different disciplinary approach that's been lost since we were kids, that there is no, appropriate fear. You don't want to be afraid of people, but like of doing something incorrectly. Like there's almost no repercussions a lot of times.
Well, yeah, I've just noticed. Yeah, I've just noticed there is no repercussions. There is no consequences. And also, I think kids today feel, at least the kids my kids are hanging out with, feel very comfortable in going up to other adults and like goofing. Like I was at a pool party and one of the kids had a squirt gun and he's squirting me in the head with a squirt gun.
Like you're his buddy.
Yeah.
Right.
That would have never happened in growing up. If anybody would have squirted, if I would have squirted another father, that father would have.
Somebody would have said, first of all, you don't do it. And you wouldn't have done it anyway.
Yeah. I just knew not to do that because, it was just off limits. Like I never even talked to anybody else's other.
Also, right. When you were at somebody else's house, I mean, it was probably hands folded, talk only if you're spoken to.
Yeah.
Best behavior, better behavior than you are at your own house.
Yeah.
Like when kids come over, it's like taking chip bags and candy upstairs to the playroom. And I'm like, we don't take food up there. Let's sit down. But I wouldn't have even tried to do that at somebody's house because of the fear of I wasn't allowed. So I'd be sitting there until they said, oh, you can take that into that room.
So I want to get to the root of the problem and find out why these kids today feel so comfortable in spreading their wings and just doing whatever they feel like they want to do, not only in their own home, but once they get outside the home, even if it be a restaurant, a friend's house, what have you, I don't know. It's bothering me. And if I had that guy, if I had that guy's face, no one would be acting up in my house.
I would, I listen to anything he says. He says, drop and give me 10. It's 10. No trouble.
Bro, if he would have told me to do jumping jacks, I would have done it right on the show. Katrina, here we go.
Hi.
What's
Katrina.
going on?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hello.
You're mobile. You're moving.
I was I'm trying to get my husband because he wanted to be on the call too. He was working out.
Nice.
Yeah, we have.
Nice.
I like, oh, look at that. The sweat.
Oh, what a
the
man.
sweat.
That's amazing.
We have a
What's
lip
your-
tie situation.
Okay.
I guess it's like genetic or something. I don't know. All our kids have lip ties.
What? No.
Sorry,
could
we're
you
out of breath.
Sorry. What's going on? What's your name, bro?
John.
John.
Hey,
What's up,
John. Hey, John.
This is
It's
Sebastian.
okay to be sweaty. It's fine.
It's all right, man. Get on the screen, man. You've been pumping
on
iron,
the
working
screen.
out. Triceps look amazing.
It's late
Listen.
in New York, dude. You got to get it in.
You got to get it in, bro. Got to get it in.
So my 2.5-year-old Vivian, she had a lip tie. It was
Wait. What's a
So
lip
let me
tie?
say, the lip tie is that this piece of skin between your lip and your gum,
the frenulum.
is tight. And the idea is that there's space between, basically, there's a thick piece of tissue at the gum between the upper two teeth and the lip.
Okay. So we all have them.
We all have frenulums there, yeah.
We all have lip ties.
No, well, we all have the frenulum. How tight it is or thick it is varies.
That's
between
actually my
people.
question.
Yes.
That's actually my question. I think this whole thing is like a scam because I go to my pediatrician. No one tells me anything. I'm a speech pathologist, so I am more aware of the lip ties. But I asked the pediatrician, is this a problem? Is it going to be a problem in the future? No. Is he gaining weight? Is she gaining weight? Yes, everything's fine. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. So they always say, no, don't touch it. I even went to an ENT. I don't settle, and I just go to so many doctors to get all these answers. But the ENT told me to leave it alone. And then I go to the dentists and they all say, oh yeah, clip it, laser it, get it fixed.
All right, listen up.
I like this.
I'll
This
take
is-
$1,000. We don't take insurance.
So I love this topic, and I'm gonna get this. This is gonna be our first podcast that I'm gonna get some hate mail.
Okay.
All right, because I'm gonna be
Sorry,
honest with
but-
you. No, I
but,
agree with you. I agree with your pediatrician and your ENT doctor, and my wife's an orthodontist. So she knows this very well. We've read all the studies. So in reality, lip ties do not need to be clipped. They do not cause issues they tend not to cause issues with feeding or speech. So that's why your pediatrician said, they're feeding well, the latch is good, everything is good. Especially the upper lip ties. There's one under the tongue that sometimes causes issues, painful breastfeeding, that sometimes is clipped, but upper we leave alone. And there are cases where that lip tie is so thick that it does prevent the upper two central teeth to come together. And then down the road, they would discuss that with an orthodontist and laser a clip at that time. But honestly, usually don't even have to do that because orthodontically, you just push the teeth together. So in my 20 years experience, I have not had any issues with lip ties.
Yeah. I
Damn.
heard this has nothing to do with him, but I heard on the street this is a scam.
Not
Now
saying
you
it's
guys all know.
I'm not saying it's a scam.
He's
and
not saying it.
I'm not saying it's a scam. And look, there are very good dentists who do this and ENT doctors who do this. And maybe it's helpful in some of the ways that they're saying. But in my personal experience, I do agree with your pediatrician ENT that I haven't found it necessary in my patient population.
Okay.
That was
Thank
good.
you.
How was that?
Did your
That was
husband
like-
did your husband pass out? Where'd he go?
He's like doing
So,
push-ups.
he's
He's
over
doing what's he
here.
doing?
What do you?
I'm catching my breath. I gotta catch my breath.
Oh,
No,
Jesus.
I thank you so much. I mean, yeah, so the bad news, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is that this show was a little too late, and I went in to the guy in New York City that does all the laser lip tie, and I actually got it done for my baby. And
Okay.
I mean, what harm could it do? Like, is
Right.
there?
I mean, look, if it's
harm?
done and it's done and right, there's no bleeding, pain, any type of procedure can have little types of things. And if you got through that, then right, it's not going to
Yeah.
do any harm. And I'm talking to you as somebody who I have family members who have done that. I
Yeah.
have family members who have done it as an adult. I have family members who have done it to their children, and that's totally their prerogative. And if that's something they chose to do, right, for the most part, it can't hurt. And there are people who are saying that it could be helpful, and maybe there's more research down the road. I should be a politician.
Yeah,
Is
think-
really
yeah.
what I should be.
I'm
just
staying,
is the
I am
thing.
staying true to what I'm saying.
But I haven't seen it in my experience.
Okay. Well, I don't think you
What
should
do you
feel
think,
bad.
Sebastian?
I don't think you should feel bad that you did it. You did it. That's that. Don't lose sleep over it.
I've
I'm
lost a lot.
Okay. I'm like you, and I'm very. I don't know if it's the Italian in me, but once people start telling me you should do this, you should do that, I get like hives. And it's almost an immediate reaction where I go, this don't sound right, right? And I always listen to my gut. Yeah, I talk to people like Dr. Scott Cohen, but generally speaking, I have an innate ability to sniff out people trying to make $1. Unfortunately, my wife has none of this ability. And that's where I'm getting hosed on that side of the family.
But don't lose sleep. Don't feel guilty. You didn't do anything wrong, and everything's
My
gonna be
daughter,
fine
I
moving
left
forward.
my daughter alone, and I did it to my son. So we'll see who turns out better, I guess.
Yeah, at least we got a comparison.
Yeah.
Right, double-blinded study. Well,
Hmm?
not
Yeah.
quite,
I'll let you
but
guys know.
in 10 years, tell us. I want to know.
By the way, before you leave,
Yes.
outside of the lip ties and the whole thing, I gotta compliment you guys on the color of the room. What do you call that paint?
John knows. It's his office.
John, what is it?
I think it's called Wolf's Gray.
Mm-hmm.
A wolf's
Wolf's
gray.
gray.
Wolf's
that's
Gray.
like
That's a
nice.
nice touch. You
got
come
the
in
wall.
there and the mood
We've
definitely
got,
changes. Yeah. No, that's a nice
built-in.
office, bro.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
doing with 2 screens? What kind of illegal shit do you do?
Listen, you gotta have one screen, for the sports. You gotta watch the Yanks, and then the other screen you gotta, do the work.
No, I hear you. Just don't beat me up, bro. Jesus. I was kidding.
Let him
All
get
right.
a Gatorade.
What?
Let him get a Gatorade.
Get your Gatorade. Get your whey protein in you. Thank you for the call, and don't worry about the lip tie. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah, we were just at your show, Mark. We love you. And our dog is named Sebastian, too.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Oh,
Same.
man.
I was going to say, same hairdo. That's good. Thanks, guys. Pleasure to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The topics like that are always hard for me, honestly, because there's such a divergent thought process between a group of people who believe wholeheartedly it's helpful and we should do it on everybody, and a large group of people who believe it is not helpful at all. And that's why it's always hard to toe that line. I like that you're very direct.
Well, I was being direct for entertainment purposes of the show. I don't know shit about this thing. All right. And when I say something, I don't think people should be going, oh, Sebastian said lip ties are a scam. This is the beauty of comedy. I say it because it causes, something going on here. Like I said that to her, and then she came back with, I did it to my kid, right? You wouldn't have got that if I would have, just hold the line. So sometimes somebody's got to step out of the box. I get it.
You may not sell a lot of tickets to lip tires.
Well, you know what? So be it. I will suffer for this show.
I appreciate
okay.
that.
Hey, Mike, what's up? What a hairdo,
Hello,
bro.
Mike. It looks great.
Are you a musician? That thing is unbelievable.
Dude, you are spot on, my friend. I don't know how you nailed that. Oh, that's Nolan, by the way.
Hey,
Sorry.
Nolan.
You know how I nailed that? You can't show up to a corporation with a hairdo like that. They'll send you home.
You would be surprised. It used to be green. So, I've made strides.
Is it spray or gel?
It's a little bit of both, and it's a huge pain in the ass to get done. So, it's too much. It's too much.
That's your son?
This is Nolan. This is my little guy right here. The big guy. Yeah. Say hi, Nolan.
Hi.
Hey. So, you got another son too?
Yeah, so I have an older son, Ashton.
Okay. And is Nolan afraid of the dogs?
No, it's Ashton.
Oh, okay. How old is he?
Yeah, so he's 9. He's going to be 10 next month.
Got it.
And
I got to say, I'll give you the rundown here. So, we can't trace it down to like where this came from, right? It started probably when he was about, 4, maybe 5 years old, but most animals he kind of is, standoffish, but dogs in particular are that's his bugaboo. It's a thing anywhere we go, like we have to ask, do you have dogs in your house? Like, are the dogs going to be there? And, where are they going to be? And, we got to prep them before we go. And then even after that, we'll show up to wherever we're going. If there's a dog, like you can't do it.
So I had a dog trauma when I was a kid. Happened at a friend of mine. His name was Brian Schmack. He had a German Shepherd, and we were playing football in his front yard. And I went to go tackle Brian. His dog thought I was going to assault him, and I got mauled by a German Shepherd, right? Bit my leg and whatnot. And I'm not Mr. Dog guy from that experience. Not that I'm running away. Yeah, not that I'm running away from him, but I'm not like, I don't generally go and seek out dog affection. In this particular case, kid's 9, and there's really no sign of him having any issue with a dog. Is the kid's inherently afraid of animals, or is this what?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you can have phobias about anything. You're right. It's nice sometimes to have to pinpoint, not that it changes anything. It would make more sense, right? If he saw something or, something happened. Have you ever tried just gently bringing them together and, exposing him?
Yeah. Well, and that's the funny part, right? Because that's what I get from all my friends. Like if we're going to a friend's house and they have a dog, they're like, oh, well, our dog's great. He'll love our dog. And it's just like, I mean, in the words of Sebastian, it doesn't matter what kind of dog.
He just gets too upset.
It doesn't matter. It could be a puppy that was just born 5 minutes ago. It's gonna freak him out, right?
Got it.
But yeah, so I believe it. Yes, and to answer your question, I've tried to like kind of gently come check this one out. It's 100 years old. It's not going to move. You can pet him on the back. It's all but. Yeah, it just never ends up working out, and and we've started therapy, and the therapist has brought the idea of bringing in a controlled situation, right? Like where she's got a dog in a cage, and get him in the same room with the dog in a cage, and unfortunately we haven't made it to that step yet. But yeah, my big question is like I can't imagine he's the only kid out there. What have you seen in your experiences? And
yeah. And that's one thing we always talk about this podcast is just knowing that other people are going through the same thing is,
sure.
So comforting. And no, I've heard about this a ton. And I even have a friend whose son goes through the exact same thing with no rhyme or reason. Usually over time things do get better, or they avoid the thing they don't like. And honestly, if he has to avoid dogs, he avoids dogs in some situations.
Well, could he go to a zoo? Is that something that scares him?
So that's fine, right? Because they're all behind bars. Sorry, I hate to say it, but they're caged in and they're not going to get out. So that's never an issue. But yeah, it's super interesting. Interesting.
Does he have other anxieties?
Anxieties. Yeah. I mean, not that I could be like, oh yeah, definitely this, but I mean, he can be kind of an anxious kid, at times. He's super passionate about everything he does in his life. I mean, right. and that's the crazy part. Like he's amazing, right? Like he's super outgoing when it comes to, like, I mean, he's done drama classes and he plays ice hockey, and he's super just passionate about the stuff that he likes to do in his life. So to see something like this kind of like get in the way and hinder certain experiences that he could be having, it breaks your heart as a parent to see.
Sure.
And basically, I don't want him to be 43 years old and still afraid of dogs. So I'm just trying to, get to that next step. But
I think you're taking the right next steps, and speaking with a therapist, I think, is a good idea. And they always have, good advice about, behavioral modification techniques. And, usually these things get better over time, which is nice. And he'll see you and other people with pets and positive experiences. And, some light fears of dogs isn't the worst thing, because I see the other side where dogs bite and nip and scratch, and that's scary too.
Yeah.
So.
How about when you're, is it Colton? Your son, your other son? Ashton. Does he play?
Yeah, the little guy's Nolan.
Does he play with dogs? Yeah.
And again, right? I mean, it missed him apparently, because he's fine, and he can go up. Yeah, he's got no issues there.
I was wondering if one brother saw another brother do it, that they would go, oh, like it's
like you said, you've done it around him, been around dogs. Look, this dog's great. He wants nothing to do with it.
And believe, I gotta say, but believe me, I've been in that situation where it's like the little guy Nolan is, sitting there petting the dog. I'm like, look, Ashton, it's amazing. You can do it, and it's not going to rip your face off, and it's funny because it's like every time I ask him, like, what scares you? What scares you about the dogs? And his answer is, it's going to kill me. It's going to kill me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. I got nothing.
Yeah. I think it's just on his time,
Yeah.
And no reason to flood him with something that he can't stand right now. Right. If he didn't like loud noise, you wouldn't go to a rock concert. So, it's going to take some time.
Yeah, I think this is something that maybe will take its course. The fact that he's coming up to you and he's not scared of your hairdo, big win,
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. I mean, it's you're looking for those little victories throughout the day, and thank goodness I'm winning that one,
I love it.
Well, thanks,
thank
brother.
You so much for sharing that.
Thank you guys for taking me. I'm sure it's been a long day, so thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All good, man.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Were you afraid of anything as a kid? Other than your father?
My father, and we had two dogs next door that I wasn't really fond of. One's name was God, what was the name? It was a killer name. Oh God, just give me a second. Tia, and which is not the killer.
I was gonna say that's not a queen.
Sparks was the killer. German Shepherd and Doberman. Doberman scared the shit out of me. I don't care how nice they are. They just have a look that that's too stiff for me. Dan's wife, Selena, joining us. Dan is in-house with us right here. He is one of the people that are working on this show to get it up and running, and has done an excellent job all day long. And here we have Selena.
Hi.
I'm sorry, did we wake you up? Did you know you were going to be on, or we didn't want to bother you?
We started snuggling because we were in the waiting line, and then here we are.
It was your fault.
Oh, okay.
This is Matias.
So thanks for coming on our show. My name is Sebastian. This is Dr. Scott Cohen.
Nice to meet you.
So we understand through your husband here that there's a scared issue with your kid. He's always scared.
Yeah. Well, he basically says lately he's been saying a lot that he's scared. And so he's like scared of his crib or scared of, but I'm not sure if he's just reacting to the fact that we're so responsive to the word scared, or if he's actually scared of everything now. He just turned 2, but he'll basically be like, that's a scare. No, it's scary. And so I'm not sure if he actually means it or not, but I also don't know if he's, if he is scared, why he's scared of everything.
So what is going on when he says he's scared? Are you picking him up and saying, "Oh, that's okay, it's not scary," or do you run out of the room?
No, so I mean, I basically I acknowledge that his fears are valid. So like I always say, yeah, that you're allowed to be scared. Like for example, we'll go to karate class and he doesn't want to participate because he's scared. And I'll say, it's okay, you're allowed to be scared. We're gonna stay here. We're gonna sit here, but because it's okay to be scared and to sit through and like experience your fears and be in your fears. But you have full permission to be scared.
I gotta cut you off here. You sound like my wife.
I was gonna.
This is what I've noticed is like kind of a new type of parenting where the kid says something and then the parent acknowledges that's okay. It's okay to be that way. My parenting style is, what are you scared of? It's more of a, get in there.
Scary.
It's karate.
Face your fears.
So, two different styles, right? This style seems to be very diplomatic, very soothing, and could have some results. However, I look at the way I was raised, and it was more like that, direct. Get in there. What are you scared of? You're a pussy. Like, sorry.
It's okay.
So is there weight on either one of these?
I mean, I think we end up at the same endpoint because I actually like what you're doing, that you're acknowledging, but you're still not leaving. Right? It'd be one thing to say, I understand you're scared and let's get out of here and never try anything or do anything. Because then I think he's going to keep doing it whether he is or not. And he's getting a lot of attention from you, which a lot of this could be, since it's new and it's with everything, it could be a little bit of attention-seeking behavior. He recognizes whenever he says it, he's sort of getting what he wants. So I like saying, yeah, I've recognized it really briefly. I get it. It's okay to be scared, but we're still going to do it. We're still going to do it and move on, distract and do it. And I think that's a good approach.
Well, no, I listen, I understand being scared of karate, but other things, like what else is he scared of?
Like he'll be scared of his crib during nap time. Sometimes he'll say like, no crib, crib's scary.
Is it because he doesn't want to sleep though?
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because I will still put him in there. Do you know what I mean? Right. I'll be like, I get it. There's no lights and it looks kind of scary, but you're still going in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes eventually he'll fall asleep, even though he'll be like, no, scary, no.
Right. And then he's right. And then the endpoint says that he's falling asleep and he's not scared. Because look, you do want to differentiate real fears, and definitely developmentally when kids approach 3 to 4, their imaginations go through the roof. That's when, monsters in the closet and imaginary friends and all those, afraid of the dark. So those are real fears that we should comfort. It's not like, yeah, there's a monster in your closet, suck it up. You want to, you want to comfort them. But it seems like this is a little more attention-seeking behavior because when you move on, he moves on too. Mm-hmm. It's not a full-fledged panic.
Yeah. Well, I commend you for being so patient and so diligent with acknowledging your son's fears. Maybe I should take a page out of this book, and not that I'm doing this to my kids, but the attitude is more of, come on, suck it up.
But I don't think you're as harsh as you make it sound.
No,
this guy's a softie.
Yeah.
You want to send your son over to his house.
You're giving away the show, bro.
I know.
This is supposed to be like, I'm the hard ass and you're the, even though I'm sitting here in a pink shirt.
You got two guys in a pink shirt, Daddy versus Doctor. Yeah. So this is what we do here.
No, listen.
Fashion and parenting advice.
I understand, and I think there's a lot of different ways to get to the destination, and maybe I'll try being a little bit more diplomatic at the house rather than always, jumping towards more of an aggressive way of dealing with things.
And despite what your husband said, you're actually doing everything correctly. It's odd.
Yay! Yay!
Should he come home tonight?
I'll repeat that to him a few times. No, I'm joking.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Dile. Bye.
I mean, listen, do I over exaggerate? Yeah. Is it for the sense of comedy? Absolutely. But there was an element in my house where I grew up scared because my mother was scared. And my dad wasn't really around because he was working. So I think I aped the behavior of my mother, and I didn't do it. Why did you like that? Right. I just, again, with the education. And I think now looking back, I was upset, or I've been upset that I didn't try a lot of things growing up, because now having kids, Lana is fearless and I want them to take after her.
You want to push a little bit, right? You don't want them to just give up just because they say they don't want to do something.
People have been wondering, how do I get on this very informational show that sprinkles a little humor over the medical field? How, you ask? Email us at daddyversusdoctor@gmail.com. List your issue, what's going on with your child, whether it be medical or behavioral or anything in between, and hopefully we'll get you on the show to discuss it with the rest of the world. Myself, Sebastian Maniscalco, and Dr. Scott Cohen are anxiously awaiting your email.
The opinions expressed in this program are not intended as professional medical advice, as a diagnosis, as a treatment protocol, or as a substitute for professional medical advice from your physician. Please consider your own medical history and consult with your own physician for your specific healthcare and/or medical needs, and about your concerns for yourself and your family.